everyone. So a couple of years ago, inspired by a lot of artwork out there of Donald Trump, some were funny, some were just awful, I felt I should have a go too. So I started painting this, and when it was done, I hid it from the world. I was embarrassed that I had spent so long on this man's face. And now that he's come and gone, I've dragged it out of the cupboard and decided to do a review of 7 artworks of Trump. They're in no particular order, and to make this clear, they're going to be counted down through the means of dwarves. The Snow White ones, not actual dwarves. Anyway, you'll get it. We're starting off with the only one that's not an adjective, dog. Okay, so this is The Entrepreneur, or The Visionary, painted in 1989 by US portrait artist Ralph Wolf Cohen. It is a flattering portrait of Donald Trump. He looks even younger than when he was back then in the 1980s. His shoulders are broader, he looks like a somewhat dashing, buff sports guy rather than the businessman that he was. It is a bit cheesy, and it seems almost designed for him to buy. The only unique thing about this painting was the unpainted left hand with this slightly cliche light above projecting rays. It seems to almost symbolize the future, as though there was more to come, as though the story of Trump wasn't yet written. But no, Trump didn't like this. He just didn't get the only special characteristic that this painting had. And he paid the artist thousands of dollars to, in his words, finish it. And now it looks like he's got a dead hand on his leg. Make everything great again. This is a mural by artists in the old town Vilnius, Lithuania. Okay, I'm not going to try to say their names, they're written down below. They painted it back in May 2016, when the then candidate Trump was running for president, after he and Putin had exchanged some compliments. The image derives from the famous 1979 kiss between Soviet leader Brezhnev and ex-German leader Honecker, which was later immortalized as a mural on the Berlin Wall. It is a sleek, modern revival of the old mural, and it clearly echoes the past relationship between the Soviet Union and its satellite state with the new Russia now and Donald Trump. And in a country like Lithuania, they might well be concerned about this newly arriving close relationship. Okay, this is William Quigley's controversial portrait of Trump. It's clearly a crudely done copy of one of Trump's classic headshots. It's a 9-foot monster done in the style of this well-known US artist, and is definitely not one of his better paintings. This painting is more famous and frankly more interesting for its price tag and the drama around it. It was bought by Trump's charity, the Trump Foundation, for $60,000, breaking the law for misuse of charity funds. According to the former lawyer, Michael Cohen, a fake bidder was planted at the auction to force the price higher than the rest of the works to flatter his boss's vanity. Even Hillary Clinton used the incident to deride him in one of their presidential debates. Okay, this is the Republican Club, done by Andy Thomas. This painting made it into the White House, clearly flattered the teetotaler president, who we can see gleaming in the middle with a Coke with 9 other Republican presidents. A kind of dream team of all those guys from history. It's done in a nice painterly style, pastel shades, so nice you can make a puzzle mug out of it. But anyway, the content. So what can we say? These guys with Trump. We got the Bushes over here. They hated Trump. Reagan, he's a fellow TV movie guy. They probably got along. Eisenhower was a general, Trump a draft dodger. Teddy Roosevelt was as an energetic nature lover, Trump less so. Gerald Ford might have got along with him. Nixon and Trump. Now this is interesting. They were actually friends. They were pen pals back in the 1980s. They had mutual admiration for each other, and despite the obvious being impeachment, They did have actual common interests, such as dislike of the media, concern of TV ratings, and also using people as props. Trump here isn't talking with his old buddy, he's smiling at the big man himself, the dapper anti-slavery guy, the guy who worked his way up from his humble origins to become the first Republican president. You know, the guy who stopped Confederates from storming Washington. Would Lincoln get along with Trump? Okay, yeah, I know this photo's a bit of an easy shot to take. Back to the artist though, Andy Thomas also did a similar painting of the most famous Democrat presidents. Obama with former slave owner Andrew Jackson, KKK fan Woodrow Wilson. Yeah, well, this painting too probably has even more questions. These are the sculptures. The Emperor has no balls. Okay, a break from painting. These were 5 sculptures around the US: Cleveland, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. They were released in 2016 when he was still then only candidate Trump. It was done by the artist collective In Decline, which involved 40 people making and placing these statues in 5 dispersed locations. They didn't last very long, most were removed the very same day, but they did gain a lot of attention and headlines around the world. They were deeply unflattering, micro penis, and of course no balls. He has a saggy belly, a saggy bum, and a kind of dopey face. There was a bit of creepy realism though, with blue veins and other realistic things like his hands and other body parts, purposely to disturb. They make him seem more human, like how the obvious nudity of the emperor was exposed. Trump is exposed as a flawed person, not remotely perfect, nor chosen by God. And that political attack, yeah, he's got no balls.
I don't have a bra.
Alright, these are the work of John McNaughton. This is an artist who is clearly besotted with Trump and everything conservative. He's a total product of the MAGA craze, and quite gratuitously so. For someone who's not all into Trump, his works are quite nauseating. After looking at these, I can't help feel these are going to be somehow embraced as Trump-era kitsch in the future, and maybe even make it onto the walls of future ironic hipsters. You know, when something can be so bad it's good. I'm sure MAGA folk love this, and it's true that Sean Hannity bought a painting of Obama burning the Constitution. Yeah, so Lord forbid anyone gets healthcare. Hey, let's storm Congress. Boom. Another shot at Trump. Okay, so next up is the Trump baby balloon. Finally, a protest art piece. First seen in July 2018 when Trump came to visit the UK. Brits protesting visiting presidents is nothing new. Hundreds and thousands protested President Bush for the Iraq War. Back then, the most famous art protest piece was this mock statue of Bush made to mimic the toppling of Saddam Hussein, you know, the Saddam Hussein statue in Baghdad. Once again in 2018, the crowds came, this time to protest the spectrum of things Trump represented. The rise of the far right, racism, sexism, the treatment of migrants. I need to let him know that he was not welcome there. Matt Boner had designed this balloon, a comical cartoonized version of the president as a crying baby holding a mobile. You get it? He's having a tantrum on Twitter. Anyway, the project was crowdsourced with £16,000. You don't really realise the size of it until you see it near people. It was a huge 6 meters high. It would follow Trump to protests around the world, to Paris, to Argentina, to Ireland, to Denmark, and then finally around the US. And in January 2021, it was retired and is now in the hands of the Museum of London. Okay, you might have noticed throughout this, I've had this painting next to me. If you haven't guessed how I themed my Trump faces, I'll give you a clue. Anyway, thanks for watching my 7 Trumps.
Day is over and the son, his go to bed.